We have joining us on the phone, the caller ID says Beth Shaw. I don't know whether we have Beth or whether we have Mike or who we've got.
Well, you have Mike because Beth is driving. It's not good to be on the phone while you're driving, so Beth is driving. And I spoke with you folks earlier, and I got a message from Chuck about 5 minutes ago. He wanted to know who that new guy is in the studio, Todd Bowers.
What's his deal? Where'd he come from?
Mike just got a text message from heaven.
I did. It's an amazing listening for 3 hours now, and I'm listening to Todd tell the stories and all the remembrances and stuff. But Todd, you have a voice. Kevin Carver and I were talking about it on the phone. Todd is using his voice. Before, we didn't know that you even existed there on the thing there. You know, it was a Todd and Chuck show, but it was always Chuck. Todd, what happened to you?
Where'd he go?
But it really is. It made me think of it, Todd, is that's what Chuck would say to you all the time. That you just sit back and you do your job and nobody ever sees you. And it really was the Todd and Chuck show. And as recent as Friday of last week when we were planning our golf trip, he wondered if you were going to hit the ball in that casual water.
That's an inside joke, guys. That's an inside golf joke.
As much,
Yeah.
We played a lot of rounds of golf, Michael. You and Chuck and I and Mr. Polaczyk, and I'm not sure the golf was very good. It ranged from mediocre to terrible, but there were a lot of good times and a lot of jibes back and forth for sure. A lot of fun was had.
Well, the terrible was my golf, but the exceptional was the friendships and the times that we had. And I just had to call in and pick on you a little bit, Todd, because that's really who Chuck was and still is. And he'll live on for a lot of years and all the jokes and the things that we did. And what Kevin said, that you guys are making it a little easier for them with all the stories and the remembrances. It does. You know, I guess at difficult times like this, when you have friends and people you can share stories with, and you try to be strong. You try to be strong and laugh instead of crying. But it's still a little bit of a shock to me. I still haven't really processed it all through that your good friend, Triple C, we won't hear his voice again. But you know what? We can hear it in our heads. Like I said, you want to know who the heck Todd Bauer was that was on the radio this morning.
Right. Thank you, Mike.
Well, you guys take care of yourselves. I just wanted to bust on you, Todd, for as Chuck would only do if he was still with us. And
I wouldn't expect anything less, buddy.
From me or from him?
For both of you.
Well, wait a minute. I was always the good one of the two, remember?
Well, that's debatable, but okay, we'll go with that.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, Mike.
You too. Thanks, Mike. You never know what you're going to get when you pick up a phone call from him, do you?
No, you do not. Certainly do not. You know what's about ready to happen.
I've got a Chuck and Mike story. I was at work in Corning, probably, I'm going to say this is 5 or 6 years ago, and we had early morning thunderstorms, and it was probably around 8 o'clock, and off the air the FM goes. So Chuck calmly texts me, and he says, "Is there anything we can do?" And I said, "If you and Mike want to take a ride up to the tower site, I need you to check something for me." So up they go. When they get there, they give me a call, and they get inside. Yeah, it's all dark. We don't have power, you know. I said, "That's fine." I said, "I just needed you to check, circuit breakers or whatever." While they were in there, lightning struck again, very, very nearby. then there was silence. And I said, "Mike, are you okay?" He goes, "Chuck's already in the car. I've never seen him move so fast."
Yep.
He didn't really care much for tower sites.
No,
wasn't his favorite place.
No.
It's 10:02. You're listening to Choice 102. I'm Dave. That's Todd. Dean is in the studio with us as well, the engineer here at the radio station, and we're coping with the loss of a good friend of all of ours and a good friend of the community. News that we thought maybe someday we might have to share, but certainly not this soon. And so unfortunate after it's really an all too recent retirement. You know, you work so hard your whole life planning for your retirement and hoping for the ability to enjoy some time and some trips and do some stuff and spend a lot of time with kids and grandkids and picking them up from school and dropping them off at school and taking them putt-putt golfing and stuff like that. And you just never know what you're going to get or how much of it you'll get. And unfortunately, our dear friend Charles Carver Jr. didn't get nearly as much as any of us would have had hoped for him and his wife Michelle and their boys and their grandkids. The news, in case you are just turning on your radio, is that Chuck Carver, the man we all seem to know as the voice of the Valley, passed away last night near his home in Lidditz after not feeling well for a little bit yesterday afternoon, going to an emergency room. Doctors believe it was an apparent heart attack, we think, and there was no repair they could make, I guess, for Chuck's big heart.
You know, he packed a lot, though, into 66, almost 67 years.
Oh God,
Yeah,
walk up this hallway and look. The man framed everything.
yes.
There's a picture of him with more people than I can identify back there. He documented so much of his life and history. I mean, he's obviously a fan of history.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, I was thinking, even though he devoted an incredible number of hours to the radio station and to the community and all of those things, he still managed to carve out time to have fun. He had a lot of fun, particularly, I would say, the last 15 years or so. He and Michelle went on great trips. I mean, wonderful vacations. They went to Hawaii, I think, at least a couple of times, drove up and down the Pacific Coast Highway, cruises. He made sure that they carved out time for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Vacations with the kids, lots and lots of golf with us goofballs, and a lot of fun had by that. So by the four of us and other people he was around too. So you know, he did really carve out time to make sure that he got a lot of enjoyment out of life too.
Absolutely. And, you know, let that be a lesson to us all. Not to wait to retire, not to wait to take the trip, and not to waste any time.
Right. Exactly.
Speaking of time, we have been going for about an hour and 45 minutes straight. And I don't know about you, Todd, but I had to sneak away for a minute to go to the little boys' room for a moment.
It happens. It
does happen. But
you can either put on a 7.5 minute record, or, you know, you can have people here to cover for you. So
yeah, that worked great. That worked perfectly. I missed half of Dean's story, unfortunately, but I got to go to the bathroom. So,
you know, I recommend Credence's "Heard It Through the Grapevine."
Yeah,
you ever hear a disc jockey playing that at 2 a.m? You know, something's going on.
Yeah,
Not
right.
exactly sure what, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to take this opportunity to stop it down for a moment.
Sure.
Let us breathe for a few, refill our beverages, maybe get Todd one. We've prepared a small tribute in our news today. There's only one news story on Choice 102 today, as it should be, and that is the passing of one of our station's greatest voices in the history of its 71-year history of being on the air at WATS. We have a small tribute that we'd like to play for you, produced by Bill Moyer late last night into the overnight. And so we'd like to share that with you. And I do have the audio clip of Chuck's Scholarship Challenge broadcast when he was in town last year in the Valley, and his him winning the Citizen of the Year award, which he so rightly deserved. So I guess prepare yourselves a little bit to hear Mr. Carver's voice once again on the air. You'll laugh and you'll cry. And Craig Stage is here. Hey, Craig, how much time do you have?
As much time as you need.
Craig's got as much time as we need. So Craig's going to join us when we come back here on Choice 102. Where's the mouse? I haven't used it in an hour and a half. I can't even find it. Here we go.